Just wanted to share with you guys here on my Patreon that inside of my Lemonade model, I have a tab here called X Members, and this is a Lemonade community members on X or on Twitter. If I look there, the Lemonade community, most of you are probably familiar with that on X, on Twitter. I looked back through the community. Anytime someone, myself or others, had posted over the last several years, a time when they announced, hey, look, we're at 500 members in December of 2023, for example, or whatever it was. Can look back. I put all those data points in, and then I've been more diligent, especially recently, in tracking those data points, and then have another column here that just shows, the average members added per day between data points. So then you can see the graph here of that, where we had a slow, almost for a year and a half, a slow progression, pretty straight line of member growth, and then different earnings results, that kind of thing, where interest in Lemonade has spiked and it's shot up. But it's really interesting right now. Not a lot has really changed with the thesis. Nothing really at all. It's just sort of slowly been marching forward consistently, unpacking itself and consistently performing each quarter, further along, marching along towards, the thesis that we see playing out. But interest in Lemonade has really taken off in especially the last few weeks. We've gone, vertical line up there. We went, and it really happened. It started in, May 16th. We're at 2,408 members, and now we're at 2,689. So if you do the math, 2689 divided by 2408, so 281 members, and I think that was 18 days. I looked that up. Let's see, 18 days ago. So we've been adding about 15 members a day over the last 18 days. Which is, obviously, if you added 15 members a day for a year, you'd have 5,500, and it's been around for several years. We're only at 2,500. So it's been a really rapid increase here over the last few days as people. It's been just a lot of buzz on there. And basically every time I look, if I happen to check the member requests, there's more member requests often. There's 20 at a time that have stacked up in theirs, and there's other moderators that are checking that. There's limited analytics here on Twitter, on X, but you can see obviously all metrics are up. But I'm going to continue to track this because I do think I think you might say, well, who cares? What does it matter that members are joining a community on X? But there's a lot of really, really quality, thoughtful people writing, publishing, posting on there. Myself, I post on there a lot and post videos, and as well as just written thoughts on there, of course. But a lot of really, really great stuff going on in that community on Twitter, on X, and we've had some movement in the the stock price since May 16th, but it's been pretty not like dramatic movement. And even the increase in interest started growing before I think the stock price started to even shift, the bit of the shift it has had. So in my mind, I think it's a very positive sign that retail interest is growing in a stock, is growing in Lemonade, but it's not like the stock has just doubled or tripled or something. Then you'd expect that the stock doubles or triples. You expect a ton of people are going to come in late and start wondering what's happening with Lemonade, and then start learning about it. That's partly what happened back here in November. The stock started moving right before Investor Day, and then after Investor Day, and then with Investor Day, and all of that. There was a lot of buzz, and people started joining the community, and we went from like 1,000 back up to 1,600 in a short, or 1,300 to 1,600 in a short span of time, within the month of November. And so something similar like that is happening now, but it's just really interesting because there's no Investor Day, and it's not like the stock price is surging. So in my mind, it's a very positive sign because it just shows there's more organic traction happening with the thesis, or people are reading the thesis, catching on, and accepting the thesis. And people are all entitled to their own opinion. If people were joining the community and thought, pointing out major flaws in the thesis, we would hear those and then they would be articulated to us. But it's quite the opposite. People are joining the Lemonade community and then becoming converts, and some of these people are be going all in with their investment and or very aggressive investments. Again, nothing is financial advice. Each person can do whatever they want. But that to me, it's just an interesting telling metric, I think, of things to come. Because the only reason that people would join and continue to join, and you'd have some acceleration or interest even without the stock price moving, is that people are finding, hearing, learning about the thesis, and then accepting and understanding the thesis and being excited about the investment. So to me, it's a great sign that things are on the right track. It's also, means there's literally hundreds more people that could be buying shares of Lemonade. And for every person that's here, I'm sure there's way more interest outside of even this, but this small group on X. But it to me it's something I'll continue to track here, so you can see it in my model. So I want you to know that. But I also think it is a telling signal of possibly maybe we're close to some sudden sharp moves in the stock price. A couple other metrics around this we could check. If you look at Google's trends for Lemonade LMND, it's in the last 12 months, year, we have a bit of an uptick just right now over the last little time. If you look further, like the last 5 years, it's really just a blip on the radar. There's really not much to report there. Back when they IPO'd, it was, much more search interest, but it is, at least in the last, 12 months time, it is interest is jumping up, which is encouraging. Also, if you look at, my own subscribers to my channel, it has have a bit of an inflection point in the subscriber count over the last little bit. So that's encouraging as well. But that could be also just how much I post videos that will affect what that does there. But ultimately, this X group where there's a ton of activity happening, it's really interesting to see that membership just spiking, going straight vertical, and we'll see how far that continues. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Remember, it's in the bag.